What's going on, friends and family? My name is Skylent, and today, well, I'm going to be playing some PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds for you in the background. That's another chicken dinner. Better believe it, winner, winner. Now, I want to say also that if you are into kind of like gambling and you don't really you really don't get gambling or RNG mechanics, you don't like it whatsoever, I think there is a new anime coming out that is actually pretty good. It's called Kagerurui, I think is how you pronounce it. I'm sorry if I butchered it, but it is a gambling anime, and it actually kind of like, it shows how you can kind of gamify gambling, and it kind of glorifies it, which is kind of interesting and weird, coming from somebody who hates gambling on RNG mechanics, but actually it's pretty good. And also I got another link that is a really big freaking article talking about the story of luck and skill and the debate about it and the history of luck in different cultures. So there you go, guys. If you guys don't know where I'm coming from, watch those, read those things, and then you'll kind of start to begin to kind of have the viewpoint that I do coming into this conversation. Now, let's go ahead and talk about this. So, in this Battlegrounds game that I'm using in the background as a prime example, I didn't really go berserk. This is a terminology that I've been using lately in streams where I just go ham. Like, basically, I just want to fight, I just want action. A lot of people see this game as an action-packed game, but there's so much more that goes on under the hood that really makes it what it is. The real skill of this game is the skill of gambling. Gambling is a skill. There is a reason why poker players can win, more often in series versus just, losing all the time. Sometimes they will lose by seemingly chance, and, sometimes they will win by chance, but the repetition, the winning more often than not, that is where we begin to have obvious proof that luck can be gamed, that the RNG actually is a game in itself. Now, I personally began to understand this whenever I went to Full Sail University for game design. It was literally the design, not the art or anything like that, not the programming, just the design of games. And coming from an arena shooter background, I was really hesitant to begin designing tabletop games because, RNG, right? But it turns out that they actually taught me a lot about how dice rolls, obviously it's a 1 in 6 chance to do something, but then the game as a whole, and of course consecutive games, that's when you can actually begin to see that there's more to the game and that the chance there is actually the game. The luck itself isn't like who decides who wins or loses, but it is actually an added mechanic that can be gamed. And then from there, I started to see, even from my arena shooter background, that, oh yeah, wait, hold on, those games are totally supposed to be completely mechanics-based, completely just pure skill, some people would say, even though there's different kinds of skill, actually have a great deal of luck inside of them. So this game, obviously Battlegrounds, is mostly luck, but if we actually go and kind of turn to something like Overwatch, which is very apparent, very obvious, there's not as many hiding spots, the characters have obvious abilities, you're not gonna really have any secrets up your sleeve, but there is still a tremendous amount of luck in that game as well. For instance, if you're a soldier fighting another soldier and he moves left and right, really because of the tick rate of the game and because of the speed of the projectile and the bullets, well, I mean, they're a hit scan, but basically because of the netcode, essentially, it's possible to miss, even though you might have perfect aim. In fact, it's possible for a robot in these arena shooters, such as Quake or something, a robot with perfect aim could lose. And in fact, you'll actually see a lot of the times, if you actually go on YouTube and look up like people who are botting on Overwatch, people still lose. Like, you can have perfect mechanical skill and then still lose these games because there's extra factors to it. Even in like a game like Quake, maybe the robot, it happens to be looking to the left passage, but somebody's coming from behind them, off screen or from the right side, and then can still get the shot on them. Doesn't matter how good your aim is if you're not able to predict that, if you're not able to look past that and kind of think of the chances and kind of gamble it away. Oh, well, there's a higher chance that he's going to come from this direction, so I should probably be looking more in this direction. Then you can potentially lose. And that is really kind of exciting to me. And once I understood that, once I learned that chance and gambling was kind of part of the game, then that's how you can kind of elevate yourself to a much higher tier player. In fact, just recently in the Quake World Champions, I don't know if it was prelims or something, but somebody predicted where somebody was going to spawn. He rocket jumped up and sniped him instantaneously, and it was freaking amazing. One of the best moments. I'm sure you can find that somewhere. But in a lot of these games that are seemingly not chance or luck based, there actually is an element of luck in them. Very much intricately entwined in their mechanical play, in their tactical play, and in their strategies. So, basically the 3 elements, the skills. It's basically mechanical skill, that's physical skill, that's your aim, how many buttons you can press at a time, basically how fast you can move, how good physically you are interacting with the game. You have your tactics, which is going to be your execution of your different plans. There's going to be the execution of like teamwork, stuff like that. And then you also have your strategy, which is your overarching concept. It's kind of really where, like, in this game, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, basically your strategy would be where do we land and where do we go from there? What is our overarching plan? What is our concept? Are we going to be getting a car immediately and then running for the crates? Or are we going to be playing, like I said, if I go berserk or if I'm going to be campy, something like that. So all that ties into really the skill, and luck intersects in all that, and creativity intersects in all that, and sometimes creativity entwines with luck, and when you have all these factors, you can definitely add in creativity to the game, but it also adds what some people would consider luck. And of course, everyone has different definitions of luck. I really do suggest you guys kind of read the articles and watch the videos that I mentioned so that you can kind of have a tasteful understanding of what some people consider luck or don't, before we just ignorantly post whatever in the comments. But I will say that I am actually excited that it is in games. Now, some people think it's not fun in games like League of Legends, like crit rates. You can get a cheesy crit early on and get a kill, which can snowball you. That does kind of suck, maybe, but the games are also really long, elongated, and that can also be gamed. In Dota as well, like Spirit Breaker, the RNG can kind of, not be in your favor and sometimes be holy shit in your favor, like ridiculous. But that's like, those are chances that you're taking. Just like any card game has elements of luck, but that's also an extra mechanic to be gamed, and that's what makes them special, and that's why people play them. Having special decks that maybe are riskier, or feast or famine, or maybe some decks that are safer, and maybe a little bit more flexible, and then you more often get the cards that you need, but you won't ever have just one giant combo to finish somebody. So those are things that you can take between strategy, tactics, and then of course in the arena shooters and stuff like that, the mechanics. Where does luck play in the mechanics? Again, I said before, sometimes people, they do certain things that, I don't like to say this, but this is some people's concept of luck. Basically, like, if you kind of, let's say you suck at sniping. Now, some people don't consider this luck. I will say that one more time, but if you were to just you see somebody out of the corner of your eye, and you just instantaneously react, and you just happen to get a headshot. More often than not, some people would say that that was luck. And in fact, in a lot of competitive arena shooters, they disable headshots because it is so infrequent and it happens at such random intervals, even for great players, that it cannot be properly considered skill, a lot of people would say, and it doesn't feel very fun. So in these super fast arena shooters, often, no headshots, because to them it's considered luck. Now to others, maybe that's an element of chance, but you took that chance and it's still kind of skill? I don't know. See, that's where it gets wibbly wobbly, so from there, just know that some people do have slight variations of what is and isn't luck, but just know that luck, no matter what game you're playing, maybe aside from chess, there might be a small percentage of luck involved in chess, like who goes first, and then, I don't know. Really, chess is probably the least luck-based game, and then only from there, there's absolutely, uncontestedly, luck. There's luck involved. One way or another, there's things that you cannot know, but you can still kind of game it. So let's keep that in mind, guys. Can this be a skill? Can luck be gamed? I think so. I think so to an extent. As long as we're having multiple rounds, which is really important. I don't like best of ones. That's kind of stupid. I think, best of threes, best of fives, that's a really good way to show which team or which person is actually good. That's why you see so many rounds in fighting games. That's why you see that in like the World Championships for like League of Legends, stuff like that. And especially CSGO, which is a game that has a tremendous, this is a big point, has a tremendous amount of luck involved in that. Right, with the RNG, the kind of like spread mechanics, where somebody could be at any time. It can be sometimes unknowable. Of course, you can kind of guess, and there is chance about it, but really, there is sometimes some cheese that can happen. There is some stuff that is lucky, but there's so many rounds in CSGO, so then it kind of evens out. And that's how you can show who is the best, and then it kind of becomes an extra mechanic. But PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is a game that I want to show and highlight because obviously it has a lot of luck to it, like just blatantly, obviously, and you can definitely still game it, even though there's not multiple, there's not really multiple rounds. Like, I mean, if you lose, you're not playing with those same people over again. So it's like that chicken dinner. There's definitely a lot of luck involved in that individual chicken dinner. But if you look at like content creators, if you look at streamers, if you look at people who are high on the leaderboards who just consistently win, it's not just because they're lucky. they are definitely playing the game as a whole. And this particular chicken dinner, I think, is a really great example of a great match that I really appreciated, despite me being generally very berserk. Even though it seemed not very action-packed, I literally only get one actual kill in this match. It actually was one of the most fun that I've ever had, because what was happening behind the scenes, under the hood there, the calculations, the tactics, the strategy, working with my team, they weren't in chat, so I had to kind of follow their lead, and kind of guessing where to go, where people might be, and yeah, it was a lot of guessing. It was a lot of randomly drawing cards, but I was kind of seeing what I had in my hand and trying to guess what they had in their hand and playing the best hand that I could. Playing the best cards that I could. And it was just a lot of fun. There were, to me, inside my brain, there was a lot of action. There was a lot of thought. There was a lot of processes going on. There was actually one example, one particular moment in this match that was super fun. And of course, the end was climactic. It was pretty cool. And as a team, we wholly survived. That was cool. But there was a moment where we were on a hill, and there was actually a team inside of a building across from us, and we had a high ground, but they were in a building, so it was kind of a stalemate. But actually, in the distance, we saw a whole team, a squad, moving behind that building. And so I made the decision that, well, if we're in a stalemate here, then let's throw in some chance. Let's actually add a luck mechanic here so that we can, you know, mix things up. And so I started shooting at the team that was behind the building, which later on proved that it drew them to that building. They ended up fighting each other, and in the end, the very end of this match, the last person to die was actually one person from one of those squads, because he didn't have the rest of his squad. So he was just like a one-man army. He came into the final circle, and then my teammate killed him. But maybe if I didn't aggro those people in the end, would they have actually chosen to go into the building? Because that was pretty risky there. Would they have encountered each other? I don't know. I don't know, because this is a game where generally people kind of play a little bit more passive, a little bit more campy, but in squads, especially because you have 4 people, you can have some added mechanics, added strategy or tactics with actually shooting different people, kind of luring people. In fact, even 1v1, you can actually go and watch a lot of YouTubers who are talking about tips about this game. You can actually like shoot to the left of a tree, and because of the way sound works, you can lure them to move to the right side of the tree, and then you know where they're going to run from, so you have certain shots coming out from there consecutively. So there is luring, right? There is that chance, and of course you are guessing kind of, and they, at the same time, you have to be aware that they are guessing. So you have to kind of try to feed them false information, or you try to do, like, basically you play mind games. There's a lot of mind games, and there's a lot of games happening in your mind inside this game, and really inside of any game. Any game. I wonder, actually, even in chess, is there mind games in chess? I don't know, that's maybe, possibly, but there is mind games, like poker face, right? You guys know about the poker face, right? There is bluffing, stuff like that in poker, and of course, in every game, there is an element of that, and that's what makes it exciting. Like all this chance, all this like mystery and chaos, this is actually something that can be gamed, and more games should take advantage of that. That's why I actually recently did an editorial talking about free-for-all games. In fact, the last video I ever did for Machinima was a video talking about how to like the kind of tips and tricks, how to win at free-for-all in Halo 3, which was, I love that. I love those times. Miss you, Machinima. I don't know what happened to you, but anyways. So, oh man, it's really exciting, and you can hear me gushing in that video too, but this luck, the chance, this is something that it can be cheesy, and it can suck, you know, getting insta-gived from something that you know, seemingly could never calculate. You could, however, calculate the odds. You could chance, and if you want to take the risk, then you better have the mechanical and tactical skill to back it up, but sometimes you're just gonna lose, sometimes you will just, you know, chance and lose, but more often than other average players, if you really try, and you really are gaming luck, you will actually come out on top of that luck. And that's all I can say. It's proven, it's a fact. However, really the debate here is what you define as luck, especially in video games. What do you define as luck? And what games, I guess we can list off, what are some of the most luck-based games? Because having a lot of luck doesn't always mean it's more fun, not always. So which games do it tastefully? Which games do it well? Which card games do you think are the best, you know, card games that have a lot of randomness? I know a lot of people don't like Hearthstone's randomness, but a lot of people really enjoy Magic the Gathering's randomness. So please let me know in the comments below. That's our debate, you know, and if you have any thoughts and feelings about what I linked in the description or in the video, yeah, well, this is just a rant. It's kind of like a podcast. Basically, I said my piece. I said what I had to say, and now it's your turn. Either way, guys, I hope you had fun, and thanks for watching me get this chicken dinner hype. Anyways, guys, keep the hype alive. I'll see you again next time.